One thing I believe in, we all fall down. And, it's not a matter of, the fact that whether you're going to fall down or not. It's a matter of what are you going to do when you get back up. I'm big on second chances because I had a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance, a fifth chance, And so trust me, if I can be where I am today, coming from where I come from and going through what I went through, anybody could do it.
All right, guys, so today we have Sean Langston, and he is going to tell his story about how he got started in real estate. Sean, how you doing, man?
Good. How's it going, Brian?
Good. I'm so good. I'm blessed.
Me too.
Better than I deserve.
That's right.
So growing up, how you got started in real estate, but I want to go back to you growing up and more the beginning of your journey and how you got started and stuff.
Yeah. So I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, a little suburb right outside of Washington, D.C. It's Kevin Ranch from there, PG County. So a lot of people may, recognize it from, Kevin Durant kind of putting us on the map. But that's where I grew up. And, I grew up, pretty much as a teenager in the 80s. And so, it was a lot going on in DC during that time. It was, a lot of different, people playing basketball. We had the Lynn Biases, that, went on to, was supposed to go to the NBA, and he got, caught up under the crack cocaine and had an overdose. So just seen a lot of crazy stuff, growing up as a young person in DC. But one thing that, I did that, I was really inspired just by seeing some other, older people inspired me to get involved in entrepreneurship. So I actually started my first business at the age of about 16, 17. I used to install stereos and so forth. I don't know if you're familiar with the show Pimp My Ride.
Yeah, no, 100%. Okay.
Yeah,
what's the coolest thing in terms of installing or that you've seen kind of in that was just whoa,
Yeah. So one thing we did, for this one guy, and you got to think this was back in the early '90s, so it was a big deal. We put televisions in the headrest, and they would, they kind of flipped open. You could, close them to conceal them. We had it where he had a tag. He wanted his tag on his car, could flip up and flip down. So yeah, it was just it was neat. So we got to do a lot of interesting stuff back then. So it was a lot of fun.
That's really neat. I love that. I personally love putting a refrigerator in the car.
I never got that request.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. Maybe for a client one day, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, whatever it takes, I'll get it done.
Oh man. Okay, so after that business, how are things after, in the stereo business?
So one good thing about that business is it kind of just showed me that a lot about dealing with people, how to deal and interact with other people, because I was fairly young, and so it helped me with that a lot. It also just gave me the confidence to believe that, I could pretty much do anything that I put my mind to.
Yeah.
So that was really good because it gave me a pretty good level of confidence at an early age. And, I guess to a fault because, I was a little too confident in some areas, and it, it really led me down the wrong path. Yeah, so just, having that business, I was young. I was a young person, really in the meat of the business when I was about 18. And so, I gained a lot of confidence from being, able to run my own business, but I believe that just growing up in the DC area and, having access to other things that were going on at the time, that the confidence got the best of me, and it led me to make some bad decisions.
What is it called? Pride comes before the fall.
Yes, man, that's the truth. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened, brother.
Yeah. So what, walk us through that. So like you, like that, in terms of like that adversity or that falling or that period of
Yeah,
life.
yeah. So like I said, growing up in DC, if anybody in the metropolitan area around the mid '80s, a teenager around that time, it was just a lot going on. And so, like I said, I had my own business at a young age, and so I got a lot of confidence from being able to be kind of independent. But with that same confidence and that same I guess you say entrepreneurial mindset, I got involved in some activities that I'm sure other younger people from big metropolitan areas can relate to. So I got involved in the legal activity. And not only was I an entrepreneur when it came to the stereo shop, but I got involved in drugs. And it just really sent me for a tailspin. So it really got out of control, and I ended up actually getting caught up, and I had to serve prison time. I served prison time in a federal prison camp, and that was a wake up call for me. It really changed. It was really an inflection point, to be honest.
Yeah.
It made me realize that I could do much better than what I was doing.
Yeah.
And, it also made me realize that when I was in there, I met so many brilliant people. And so it just made me really understand that this is a matter of what you do with your talent. Like, there's a lot of talented people.
Yeah.
But if you don't channel that, talent into the right place, you can end up in the wrong place. And so that's what happened to me. I did. And so I saw that, and I just had this inflection point where I said, I'll never do this again. I'm too smart for this. There's too many people depending on me, And so, that was a really tough time in my life. I mean, I was a young person. I had, my life in front of me, my whole life in front of me. And it was just, at the moment, I thought it was the worst thing that ever happened. But, in hindsight, it was one of the best things that happened to me.
That's good. What, like, when you got caught up in just like the whole drug world, like, when was the point you knew you're like, I'm too far in? Like, you're like, where like you almost like, when you're watching a movie, it's going to end, but you can't stop. Like,
yeah.
What was
well,
it?
I knew, like I said, as a young person, I knew pretty much that I was too far in when, when I realized I was making more money than my parents, made combined. I was making more money than that, in a couple of months period. And I knew that I was just too far in it. And, it's only by the grace of God that I did get in trouble, because other than that, I don't know how I would have stopped. It was just, money was coming in hand over fist.
Yeah.
And, it just got out of control. And I really lost myself inside of that, because I come from a great family, with great values. So, like I said, it was, it got the best of me. Like you said, that pride and that confidence really got the best of me.
Yeah, no, that's nuts. And honestly, you were saying it was a blessing to get caught, because you could have like ended up like dead,
Yes.
Yes. Like a lot of
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's the saying that, when you're involved in that type of lifestyle, there are only two places that you're going to end up, and that's either prison or dead. And, only by the grace of God, I ended up in prison. And so, it was really a second chance for me. I, had an opportunity to, God sat me down, and so, gave me the opportunity to really evaluate my life and, to just turn my life around totally, So it's just, God is so good. So it's just amazing that, how he brought me through that, and, where I am today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. What was your experience like in prison? So like, in terms of like what lessons did you take out of that? Like from after, cause you have a lot of time to think and stuff.
Yeah. So one thing that, like I said, I really learned was just with other people in there in general, um, really smart people in there. I mean, there were people in there for, white collar crimes. Like I was mostly in there with people with white collar crimes. And so just really brilliant people. And what I realized is, you can have a gift, but if you don't use it in the correct manner, it could really affect you in a negative way. And, it's like some of the folks in there, I don't know if you ever seen the movie Trading Places,
Yes.
but, it was people in there that would be teaching, guys that were, never been exposed to the stock market. They would teach them about the stock market, and these guys would pick up on it just like that. I mean, they had brilliant minds. They just didn't have the tools and the people to kind of, help them with that. So that was another thing that, I really learned from that. I learned that, I wanted to give other people opportunities. So, one of the first things I really wanted to do when I came home was to counsel other young people to kind of, show them there's a different way.
That's so good. Yeah, there is. Absolutely. It's unfortunate. A lot of, I was just in South Central yesterday, and then I just was seeing how there is a lack of like people reaching out maybe to other people, or just there's just like cycles.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
And
That's right.
And it's just like whoa, like
some people just need opportunity. Given the same opportunity, most of us can excel. And so that's kind of what I wanted to convey to the younger people that were coming up behind me.
Yeah. No, that's good. So transitioning like into real estate, how did you transition into real estate?
It's a funny story. Like I said, with that, coming from that experience and just kind of wanted to give back, I wanted to really, counsel the younger people. So it's a good friend of mine. He's like a brother to me. His name is Herb. That's my guy. If you see me, you see him.
Shout out to Herb.
Yeah, absolutely. So he was in real estate. He was in real estate probably by that time, maybe about 6 or 7 years. And I told him, I said, hey, Herb, I want to, come out and I want to counsel some of these young folks. And he said, Sean, look, he said, man, I know you well, and I know how gifted and smart you are. He said, hey, look, you should get into real estate. He said, you'll have the opportunity to counsel way more people than you think. And I just didn't put it together because I didn't know much about real estate. I'm like, those are houses. How would I be counseling anybody? He was like, trust me. He said, real estate and, the process and, the information that you have to provide to people. There's a lot of counseling that goes behind that. He said, and then on top of that, once you have a certain amount of influence, you'll be able to counsel more people. And I was like, whatever, Herb. And I finally, said, it's worth a try. What do I have to lose? And so I went and got my real estate license, and that really changed my life. And, it allowed me to change others' lives as well.
Yeah, that's so good. You're still friends with Herb?
Oh yeah, that's my guy. That's he's like a brother.
That's so good. Oh man. So you get your license. So you're fresh. Like, what's the next thing you do?
Yeah. So I met this other guy who had a friend that was with Remax, and he's like, he's looking for other agents, and so I went and interviewed with him, and we kind of really connected. And he knew my situation, and he was like, hey, he was a Christian as well. He's like, look, God has forgiven you as long as you've forgiven yourself, and you ready to do the right thing. Let's do it. And so I joined with Remax, and and the funny thing about Remax, I didn't know any better at the time per se. But there was this thing in the industry that, other agents called it fee max, because relative to other firms, you had to pay a lot of fees. And so, the way I looked at it was, hey, like I said, I learned a long time ago to invest in myself. And so, even though Remax had the different fees and so forth, I felt like I could invest in myself. And if I invested in myself, that, I was going to win. And so I got with Remax, and I stayed there for 10 years, and I learned a lot, built a lot of great relationships, really was able to, take my profession to another level. I learned a lot of things. And, and so shortly after, after I finished 10 years there at Remax, just perfecting my craft and really, taking things to the next level, I ended up opening my own brokerage. My wife and myself opened my own brokerage, and that just opened the door for more things as well.
What are some of the lessons you took from like working at Remax for 10 years? Like some things like golden nuggets you learned over the years.
Yep. So one thing I learned about Remax is this, and this goes for real estate in general. The saying that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Mm-hmm. Well, Remax was great for a new agent because they had the branding and they had a lot of tools. And so that's awesome. I would tell any new agent, get with a bigger firm, maybe a firm, that has tools to help you brand yourself and tools to help you develop yourself. And Remax had those things. And so, that's one thing I learned from there. But then I also learned that once you do a good job, people remember you more than, the brand. You are your brand. Yeah. And so as long as you're representing yourself in the right manner, you'll be able to have the same impact as you had with being kind of under that bigger umbrella. So, you are your brand. So that's one thing that I did learn from Remax.
That's good. Yeah, it's very much a relationship type of, interactions. And I just read a stat, it's like 90% of people, they have a good interaction with their agent. They do a good job. They recommend them to their friend.
That's right.
And then you keep going from there.
That's it.
Snowballing.
That's it. That's what you do. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, that's super cool. So you're saying you guys started your own brokerage, which, what was like the tipping point where you guys are like, I'm going to start my own brokerage for you?
Yeah, probably the tipping point was, like I said, I was with Remax for about 10 years. And out of that 10 years, I probably officed, from my home office, 8 out of those 10 years. And I said, hey, well, if I can office from home, if I got my laptop, my emails, and smartphones, I could do business anywhere. And so, I had enough clientele. I had, kind of like you said, repeat customers. I took care of them. And so, I said, hey, look, it's time for us to make a move. I can work from anywhere. I can work from home. If I need to go to a, satellite office, remote office that, if somebody wanted to meet, like people would ask me, hey, where's your office? I was like, wherever Starbucks is. Yeah. And so, I would meet people there. And so that was it. Once I realized that, I could do this business from just about anywhere, I knew it was time for me to make a move, and I knew that, I wanted to kind of build my own legacy of doing some things a little different, because my passion as well is, generational wealth and investing in real estate. So that's something that I really wanted to take to the next level. And so, that was one reason why I went out on my own to pursue that.
Mm-hmm. And what year was that in terms of, when you guys started?
That was officially 2016. Awesome. 2016, yep.
Awesome. What are some of the challenges you had with creating your own brokerage?
Yeah, so one thing about having your own brokerage, you kind of feel like you're on an island by yourself sometimes, right? Yeah. It can kind of get lonely, but nowadays, there's so many tools where you can get plugged into other people, and so that was probably the biggest challenge. Just kind of feeling like a smaller, like with a Remax, there was always something going on in such a big firm. They were in over 65 countries, and you got agents all over the world. So there was a lot of things that you can kind of glean from that. And so when you kind of, have your own brokerage, you got to carve out your own niche. And so that's what we ended up doing. We ended up carving out our own niche, and really about building generational wealth, and helping other people attain that goal as well. And we ourselves, have investment properties. We have several investment properties. We renovate, flip properties. We do new construction. And so that was something that I was really passionate about, because that's outside of just the regular general real estate brokerage. So, once I got past some of the challenges and so forth, I saw the opportunities. And so I just took advantage of those opportunities and started building upon that.
What, I guess, like, if someone's thinking about starting their own brokerage, like, what would be, I guess, advantages and disadvantages of, like, starting your own? Like, what's...
Yep. I say probably the disadvantage is, to some extent, there's a lot of models out there, but the disadvantage is you're going to have to get some bumps and bruises along the way and figure some things out. That's the disadvantage, because you're kind of doing your own thing. But if you've been around real estate enough, then you can work through it, and it's well worth it. So I would say that just fail forward and fail fast. That's what I would say.
Yeah, so it's it's always a learning curve if you're starting something from scratch.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So for you in the brokerage, like, how did you guys start into investing?
Yeah, so one thing that I always kind of thought about, we as real estate agents, we help other clients take advantage of really good opportunities. And so I just started to question, like, well, how come more agents aren't taking advantage of the opportunities they present to their clients? And what I found was some agents just didn't have the means to do it, right? And and I think that's just being in that mindset of being just only an agent and not looking at the opportunity in front of you. I just had a mindset shift, and I looked. I said, hey, if it's good for my investor client, then it's probably good for me. And so I started analyzing deals, and money that I made from transactions, each commission, I just saved up a little money each transaction. And so when I did see an opportunity, I had that money already set aside where I could move forward on that. And I started with one property, and I flipped a few properties. Now fast forward, I probably flipped over 20 properties. I built, 2 new construction. I got six right now in the pipeline. We have, 15 rental properties. And so, it all started with one. And basically that started from, just saving money from each commission check. So it was definitely very intentional. That's one thing I would say. Just if you have a plan, just be intentional about it and work that plan.
Yeah, that's so good. What was your first investment property like?
I think the first one, I believe, it seemed like it's been forever now. The first one I believe was with me and another one of my business partners. We took this little 4-bedroom house, but it was relatively small, over in the east side of town. And we, it was a funny story, because my business partner, he's a hands-on type of guy, and he was like, "Oh man, we can go in there and we can, do some of the repairs ourselves." And I found out quickly that's not my gift. I had holes in the walls, spackling putty everywhere. I'm like, no, I'll hire somebody to do this. And so, but I found that out quickly. But yeah, so that was probably the first one we did. I think that was 07 or 08, I can't remember. But we did that, and that was like, the market was changing at that time. So we were still able to make money on that one. So that was another confidence booster, when it came to knowing that that was something that I really felt that we could do.
Nice. So right before kind of like things shifted in the market, like sounds like.
Yeah.
So after, '08, did you invest in property, or were you just waiting, or?
Yeah, so '08 I invested a little bit. '08, '09 I invested a little bit. Probably from the beginning of the recession, I just always look for opportunities during that time, and I invested at every period. Each technique was a little different depending on the period of time, and so, but I invested at every turn. At the beginning of the recession, in the middle of the recession, as we were coming out of the recession, as we got in a better situation, as the market is booming, and I'm still investing to this day. And so, yeah, it's just, I just, we're in real estate every day. And so, we're agents. So I feel like we have more information than the average individual. So I just, felt like we should be using that information.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it sounds like it's always a good time to buy real estate.
Always a good time. And one thing I love about real estate is because you can do so many things with it. One thing I'm really passionate about is passive income. Like with the rental properties, that's passive income. That's money that's going to come in regardless of if I go out and sell a house or list a house or something like that. That money is going to come in regardless, and the effort that it takes to make that money is less of an effort. And so I just believe in having opportunities like that, because when you do have passive income like that, and you can kind of get off the transaction treadmill, it frees your mind up to be able to discover and explore other things.
Yeah, absolutely. So after you had your brokerage for a little bit, walk me through how you ended up with EXP.
Yeah, so one thing that I always, like I said, I love the passive part of real estate where you can have passive income. And so one of my business coaches actually told me about the opportunity, and I know how big he is about time and money freedom, right? And so that's what I've always been looking to accomplish, and I think that most of us are in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I mean, for the most part, I think that money is a means, for you to be able to do what you want to with your time, and the resource. Exactly. Yeah. It's just a resource. And so, my business coach, told me about the EXP model and what it was all about. And they have an incredible model where you can earn passive income, that you can also get equity in the company. I mean, doing real estate like that's really unheard of, So when you close a transaction with them, you basically can get stock, piece of equity in the company. You also can get passive income by having other people on your team, and it's cloud based. It's not brick and mortar. Like I said, I hadn't been going in the office in years anyway when I was with Remax, and so as you can do pretty much anything on your computer or on the cloud. And so that's once he kind of told me about the model, and I really looked at it, because I heard about it. Obviously, it's a growing company. I heard about it, but once I took the time to really look at it, it just aligned with what I was looking to do, and it was very congruent with what I was looking to do anyway.
Yeah. So how's that? So in terms of your because you had your own brokerage, and then you ended up switching. So it's just an interesting. I would think if you already have your own brokerage, why would you want to switch?
That's a good question. Well, the main reason is the tools and the opportunity that EXP affords you. And EXP, the model is basically an agent-centric model. They want you to have your brand, under EXP. So basically, we're Langston Realty Group. We still have our, team per se under EXP. So it's Langston Realty Group, brokered by EXP. And so, just like I said, the tools and the opportunities, the ability to, gain passive income, the ability to have ownership, they even offer health care. So it was just like, certain things that I just couldn't match as a brokerage. And I saw that they were agent and team centric. They didn't want me to lose my identity coming over to EXP. They actually wanted me to keep my identity with Langston Realty Group. And so that was a beautiful thing. My team members, they came over with me, and we still get to do what we've always done, but we can just do it better.
That's good. Yeah, they're like, okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
In terms of why they're like more partnering with you rather than
That's right.
In the sense like you're working under it's like
Yeah.
they're like hands in the back. Like
That's right. That's a perfect analogy. They're basically, it's a bunch of collaboration and partnership with them, and so that the model is incredible, and I think it's the model of the future. To be honest, I kind of liken it to the the Netflix of real estate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So for you, like, what are the plans in terms of investing and going forth with Langston Group brokered by EXP?
Yeah, so the plans are to continue to do what we've been doing, and at this point in my career, my goal right now is really to kind of give back to other agents, to be afforded some of the opportunities that I've been afforded, to kind of show other agents how to get involved in real estate investing, while being a real estate agent. So that's huge. I mean, it's like we have access to all the information. It's just that most of us just don't know how to make that jump or transition to real estate investing. And so that's really what my passion is nowadays, to empower other real estate agents and real estate professionals to get involved in real estate investing, to build wealth, whether it's doing renovation properties, new construction, or rental properties like I do myself. I just think that there's so many more opportunities out there for the average real estate agent.
Yeah, I wonder what's holding people back, like in terms of agents maybe making the transition to investing in.
Yeah, I think that one thing is it's a mindset shift. I think that most agents are geared towards the general model of production, who can sell the most homes and so forth. So you kind of get on that transaction treadmill. But as you get older, you got to realize that you need some type of alternative. You need, in addition to, right, you need some options. You don't want to be on that transaction treadmill when you're 55, 60 years old. You don't be doing the same thing you were doing when you were younger. And so I think that it's just a mindset shift, and that's all that's kind of taught is, production. And so, what I've invested a lot in personal development, to understand, to slow down, to speed up, and that's what I've done, just kind of slowed down so I can see out the other opportunities and so I can speed my business up to a point where I can transition out of the day-to-day real estate. And so I think it's just really lack of information as to how to apply that and how to get there, and so I think if more agents really understood how to get there, then they would be more interested in it, and they would see a clear path out of the transaction treadmill, because I mean, it can be hard, because that's kind of what's the thing is in regular real estate brokerage, just kind of churn and burn, but there's certainly another way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it's hard work. Like
it is.
And I don't think people a lot of people who aren't maybe necessarily in the shoes of the realtors or agents, they don't understand that.
Exactly.
It is very, very hard work.
It is absolutely, absolutely. That's for sure. So no, that's my goal and my passion now is just to you know show this opportunity to other agents and give back at this point in time in my career. I just want to lift the other agents up that are coming after me, even some agents that have been doing it for a while that may not know or understand another way. I wanna bless them with the opportunity. So that's kind of like my passion and my calling at this point in my career.
That's awesome. So more, yeah. So like going forward and like these next.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited about what the future holds, and God is good, and I always believe that when you've been blessed, you need to bless others. So that's what I'm doing now.
All for it. No, I'm looking forward to seeing more. Yeah, just you helping out more people with more success stories in terms of with like helping people make that transition and that shift in their career, like you have, and it's super inspiring to see someone go from from a low point to
Absolutely.
to where it's like, whoa, like you can totally change your life around. Like if
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, even you had told me earlier, like if I could do it, like man, anyone can. Like
anybody can do it.
Yeah.
If I can do it, anybody can do it. And one thing I believe in, we all fall down, and it's not a matter of the fact that whether you're going to fall down or not. It's a matter of what are you going to do when you get back up. I'm big on second chances because I had a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance, a fifth chance, and so trust me, if I can be where I am today, coming from where I come from and going through what I went through, anybody could do it.
Yeah, no, I've definitely had like 1,000 chances for sure.
That's right.
I feel you.
I'm telling you.
Cool, Sean. Well, thanks so much for sharing your story. I really appreciate it, and I hope like if this impacts just one person, like whoever you are out there, you can do it. You can change your life.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like and you can be successful. So
absolutely.
Super all for it. Cool. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you. Take care.
Take care.